Hello. Now that you have learned the 5 steps in the SQ3R methods in the previous video, how will you apply them as you read? In this video, you will view a demonstration of how this method is applied to the type of reading you might encounter in a course textbook. I'll focus on the first 3 steps in the method: surveying the chapter, formulating questions, and reading to find key information. Today I'm going to read a book entitled Inspirational Stories from English Language Classroom, edited by Flora Deborah Flores and Willy Arenandia, and it is published by Taflin. My first step is to survey, so I'll skim the book quickly to get the overview. The first place that I'd like to begin with is the table of content. I think this is the part that you cannot miss to get a preview. So I will read this carefully, and I noticed that there are 40 chapters written by different authors. So this book is an anthology. I also learned that the chapters are clustered into 5 sections. In each section, the chapters, which appear to be stories experienced by the authors, are tied with a central theme. For example, in section 1, the theme is becoming a professional English teacher, and in section 2, building rapport, and so on. Alright, I think I'd like to narrow down the demonstration. Just say I want to read chapter. Okay, let's see. Chapter 31 catches my attention. So let's uh, demonstrate SQ3R using this chapter. Chapter 31 is the most important homework of the year. It is under the section Engaging Students in Meaningful Activities. This is a very useful information because I think I can make some predictions and questions about what the chapter is about. So I'm going to list the question that pop out in my head when I read the chapter title. What is the most important homework? What is the procedure? Why is it important? And why is it included in the inspirational stories book? What is so inspiring about this homework? These questions give me purpose for reading and at once prepare my mind to target certain information from my reading. Okay, so let's get to chapter 31. I skim the chapter and identify some information. Here we have the title, the author, and his affiliation, and I also notice how the chapter is arranged. It is started off by some kind of background story or introduction, and then statement of objectives, and a series of steps in procedure, and finally reflection. Apparently, other chapters in the book are arranged in a similar way. Now I'll just go back to the top of the chapter and read it quickly. When skimming, the opening part that I thought of as an introduction or background is confirmed. I don't read it carefully, but I read the names Mariko and Airi were mentioned repeatedly, so I'm guessing that's the topic. This skimming helps me to predict where the answers to my questions are. The skimming also adds up some questions. I base my questions on key headings and some words that I noticed from my survey. Here are some questions that I've developed. Who is Mariko and Airi? How are they related? How is the opening linked to the objective and procedure? And what is actually referred to as the most important homework? With this in mind, I read the chapter carefully and take notes on key points that I think answer my questions. Throughout the steps, you can see that my mind is actively making questions, predicting and anticipating information. And you may also notice that my skimming is not one go skimming. So I skim the book first, and then I skim the chapter, and then I skim the section before I read the part carefully. Note taking is also a useful tool to retain information because when I take notes, I'm thinking about key pieces of information, how they are related one to another, and how it answers the question I had. Altogether, active reading is in action. Next, I'll just have to answer the questions in my own words. Only if I can do that, I can be sure that I know what I'm reading. Once I know what I'm reading, I can review and reflect my understanding. I will talk to a friend, for example, so I can get alternative perspectives. I'll also put what I understand in a wider context. For example, relate what I learned from the passage to other sources. Okay, so these are all that I can demonstrate. I do hope that you can follow the steps of SQ3R when you read a passage on your own. Hopefully, if you have applied the SQ3R strategies, you will be able to comprehend texts or passages better and you can retain what you read longer. Alright, that's all for now. Bye.